Clean Getaway by Nick Stone. Route 11. A not good feeling. While Scoop's in the bathroom, it occurs to him how odd it is that Jima just went into his bag without permission. That's unlike her. Yes, it's her treasure box, and she can do as she pleases with it, but Jima's usually all about respecting Scoop's agency. In fact, her house was on the one place where he was allowed to close his door. He knows it shouldn't be a big deal, but this just feels like another brick added to the pile of changes he feels he'll eventually be crushed beneath. In this moment, he misses his old life. He's only been gone a couple days, but he'd give anything to catch a whiff of the flowery perfume Shanice started wearing at the beginning of the year, or hear one of Drake's corny jokes. He even misses Dad's rumbly laugh, which he hasn't heard very often in the past few months, but still. Why does everything feel so off? "I want to show you one more thing before we get back on the road," Jima says, snatching Scoop out of his thoughts, which may not be such a bad thing. She spins on her sneaks and takes the 3 steps to the door with something green clutched in her hand. Scoob is frozen to the spot, which Jima seems to sense. As she shoves the door open, she turns to him. "Well, you coming?" Scoob breathes in super deep through his nose, blows it out of puckered lips. The green book wasn't even in his backpack. It was under the pillow in his bunk, which would mean she poked around up there without his permission as well. He doesn't know what to think or feel now. Technically, it's her pillow in her bunk because this is her Winnebago. It's also her green book. But Scoob shakes his head and forces his feet to move. "Yeah, I'm coming." Once they touch down on the sidewalk and the RV door clinks closed, Jima's the speechless one. She looks at the stuff in her hand and instantly appears on the verge of tears again. Scoob wonders if it's a good idea for them to see what she wants to show him. "You know, Jima, if this is too painful for you, we can just go," he says, with maybe too much hope in his voice. If Jima picks up on it, she doesn't let it show. No, she says. "It's important for both of us. Come on." They head back away from the RV. It's strange. The sidewalks look brand new, and the red brick street makes him wonder if the road will lead him to a wizard who can send him back home. The one in the Wiz is yellow, but same concept, right? However, most of the buildings they pass aren't only boarded up, they're beyond hope of repair. There are even a few gaps between dilapidated buildings where Scoob can tell there used to be, well, more building. They stop at the intersection of 5th Street and 25th Avenue, and she stares across the street at a rusted corner marquee as she hands him the green book. His eyes rove the cover again and stick on 1963. What must a street like this have looked like way back then? "Go to the Mississippi section and find Meridian," she says. "Page 33, second to the last listing." Scoob looks at the line, which is underlined, then up at the marquee. Both say Hotel E.F. Young Jr. "Whoa," is all Scoob can think to say. Then Jima passes him something else. "Have a look-see." A photo of G-Pop standing beneath the marquee. Scoob holds it up to the eye level, shifting his focus between the hotel and the picture and what's right in front of him. "Double whoa," he says. "That's the last picture I ever took of your G-Pop. And the last good night he and I ever had together was inside of that hotel," Jima says. "Believe it or not, this place used to be mighty fine. There was a barbershop and beauty salon and a shoeshine place all inside. They say Dr. King even stayed here once. It was glorious." Scoob glances in her direction and isn't surprised to see tears weaving down her wrinkly cheeks. "I wish I had the words to express how hard it was for your grandfather and me to be a couple, Scooby-Doo," she says. "Frankly, black folks weren't any keener on it than white folks were. Part of the reason we got the RV is so we wouldn't have to worry about a place to sleep while on the road. The woman working the front desk at this place didn't even want to book us a room." "Really?" Scoob says. "Really. Manager happened to pass by while she was giving us trouble. I wasn't feeling too hot at that point. It was during our stay here that I first realized we probably weren't going to make it much farther on our trip, and I think he could tell we needed the kindness. What was wrong with you? Scoob asks. Gma shakes her head and sighs. We'll get there, Scooby-Doob. We'll get there. And she turns to head back to the RV. Scoob might have made it back to center, more concerned with Gma's sadness than his own unease, if he hadn't caught sight of the Tennessee license plate on the rear bumper of the RV again. This time, the uneasiness is impossible to shake. Even once they're inside and their seatbelts are fastened and the engine is cranked, even when Gma says, Scooby-Doo, not to get all sappy on you, but it means the world to me that we made this pit stop. It's like closing a door almost. Scoob gives a vague nod, grunt, and bites his thumbnail, wishes he'd thought to grab his map so he could add a drawing of the marquee over Meridian, just for something to do. She keeps going. Last time I was here was the beginning of the end of a journey, but this time feels like the end of the beginning. You know what I mean? Not really, he says, too mentally exhausted to lie. That's all right, she nods. You'll understand soon enough. What the heck was that supposed to mean? We're going to make it this time, Scooby-Doo, Gma continues. All the way to Juarez. It's what your G-Pop would want. I just know it. Scoob squints, remembers the green book he's still holding and the fact that there's an international section in the back. He saw it while flipping through it in Alabama the night before last. Tourist camp. Jardín Fronterizo is circled in the Mexico section on page 80. You'll help me, right? She glances at him briefly, just as the traffic light they're approaching goes green, which feels all the way wrong, considering how much Scoob wants to stop. If something happens and I need your help, you'll do as I say and you'll help me, right, kiddo? Scoob gulps, tries to swallow down the words he doesn't want to say forming in his throat, but it's no use. She's his Gma. Of course I'll help you, he says, doing the exact thing that got him wrangled into the cheating scandal. Good, she says, because I've got a good feeling. All Scoob can do is sigh. Why is it so hard to just say no when he's got a not good feeling?